Hi, everybody. Welcome. We got some breaking news. And because this breaking news is really historic, we have two people that have been through what this breaking news is all about joining us today on the show. Please welcome former Trump attorney Michael Cohen, ladies and gentlemen. That, of course, former Trump fixer, Mr. Lev Parnas. Both men have been indicted for Donald Trump. Both men have been perp walked. And right now, as we speak, James Comey, former FBI director, is either being perp walked or we are waiting for one as he is being indicted for lying under oath, perjuring himself. We know it's a clown show. We've got a bunch of different takes. I'm just going to get the fuck out of the way here, boys. I don't know where you want to start, but you guys have been through this. Where do you want to start?
I mean,
I'm gonna allow Lev to start, considering he's newer to the scenario than I. I was first. Lev was at least second.
I mean, I think we had different type of scenarios. I was not fortunate enough to be able to walk into a courthouse. I was brought there in shackles because when they arrested me, they set it up as I was trying to run away from something, from what I was running, from who I was running. That was never determined, but it was Berman's way, Bill Barr's way, and as me and Michael always speak about, people say, oh, Trump is weaponizing the DOJ. I'm going to give you guys a secret, folks. The DOJ has always been weaponized because people run it. People are not computers. People have, favors. Everything in our system weaponized.
Sure.
It's how what prison you go to is also, it's not what you know, it's who you know. It's how you get treated everywhere. It's an incredible, it's that type of a situation. But from my personal experience, I mean, I was actually sitting in when they were supposed to arraign me in that courthouse. I was watching it today. It gave me
Same courthouse?
Same courthouse.
Yeah.
They brought me in through the back in the bus with all the inmates, and I remember going.
Whoa! Did you just say they took you through the back?
Yeah. Well, through the portal. They took us through the inmate portal. Inmate portal. I remember.
I think Michael was just pissed off that you were more special than he was because you get to go in the back.
I want to tell you something because it's very funny. So when it came time for the arraignment,
yeah,
I didn't even have an arraignment. Remember, I went from a Friday at 5:30 p.m. where I was told by prosecutors, you need to come in on Monday morning and plead guilty to what we tell you. Otherwise, we're filing an 80-page indictment that includes your wife. Okay, I'll see you on Monday. So I figured I will see you on Monday. Well, I take a cab. And all of a sudden I show up and I'm standing at the front at 500 Pearl Street and they're fucking freaking out. They're like, what are you doing here? Where are the agents? I'm like, what agents? You told me to be here at 9 o'clock. I'm here at 9 o'clock. They're like, you were supposed to be picked up by agents and so on and brought here. They said, how did you get here? I said, I took a cab. This is how fucking dysfunctional, right? This group of idiots, this Nick Roos and this Thomas McKay, right? They were fucking inept, and that's why when they make fun of Lindsay Halligan, right? That she has no experience. Yeah, these guys had experience. They were still inept. It's easy to beat somebody over the head with a sledgehammer, and then you say, oh, yeah, well, I hit him in the head with a sledgehammer, therefore I knocked him out. Okay, well, what the fuck did you think was going to happen? What do you think is going to happen, even like with James Comey? Because I think many of us have some different opinions as to what's going to transcribe, what's going to ultimately, occur here with this case. But let Lev finish.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's crazy to hear your story, Mike. I didn't even know that's how you went in. I mean,
I walked in from a camp.
I'll tell you a little bit funny about my whole thing also, because originally it wasn't as funny in the beginning. It was very, very drastic and I thought I was going to lose my mind because part of the deal, what they did was they canceled my basically arraignment in Alexandria, Virginia, when they brought me in there. And they basically said that we're going to keep you locked up here in prison until we transfer you into your, because my case was out of Southern District of New York, to arraign me in New York. So so then for the next 2 weeks, I had to sit there literally in solitary confinement in Alexandria, Virginia. They took me into the Paul Manafort wing. I actually was in the same cell Paul Manafort, but I didn't have his mattress. You know, Paul Manafort, they gave him a therapeutic mattress he had in Virginia.
Do you know when I was in Otisville, somebody sent 3 pillows, Mike Lindell, my pillow to me. And so I get the hell are you laughing about? This is your story.
Well, there's the Mike Lindell, my pillows. I mean,
so all of a sudden, I get the camp administrator, little tiny motherfucker, and it turns out he comes to me. He goes, "You received a package today," and I was like, "Oh, cool." I said, what are they? When am I going to receive it?" He goes, "You're not." And I said, "Okay." So somebody sent you 3 my pillows. I said, "Oh," I said, I could use a pillow because they didn't even give me a fucking pillow, right? So at first, when I first got to Otisville, I didn't even have a pillow. So, I turned around and said, I could use some pillows. They're like, "No." I'm like, "Well, what did you do with it?" They were like, "We donated it." I said,
to themselves.
Bullshit. I said, "Bullshit. You guys kept it for yourself." Right? In fact, somebody sent like 50 sandwiches from the 2nd Avenue Deli as well, with potato knishes and so on. They're like, "What the fuck is wrong with your people?" I said, "What do you mean?" I didn't call anybody and ask. You guys listen to every phone call. I didn't ask anybody to do it. I probably don't even know who the person is. They're just a supporter. Well, you need to make it clear to people. How do you want me to make it clear to people? I don't talk about sending me anything. Somebody sent like 50 pastrami, corned beef, turkey, roast beef sandwiches, along with potato knishes and coleslaw and macaroni salad. So I was like, "So bring it in. I'll share it with everybody." They were like, "Fuck you." I said, "Well, what'd you do with it? I know you didn't throw it away."
Oh, they ate it.
They turned around and he says, "No, we donated it to the church at the bottom of the hill." I turned around and I said, "Sure you did." I said, "You all look." I said, "You all look like you've been eating very, very well. Like, you have that. As the result of the turkey, you have like the L-tryptophan effect where you fall asleep." I'm like, "You guys all look fucking tired."
Little mustard stain on the uni. Yeah.
He goes, "Cohen, shut the fuck up, or you're going in the hole."
Okay, those were his famous words, Officer DeLeo. That was his office. Yeah, when I got in there, the first thing he sat me down and said, "Listen."
You had the same guy?
Oh,
yeah, of course.
Yeah. He sat me down. He said to me, "Listen to me. If you think you're going to be like Cohen or the situation, because you were there with the situation.
I was there. He was my table mate.
The Jersey Shore guy. You were there with the situation.
He was my table mate.
So he goes to me. He's
actually a really good guy. But you know who was also with me as well was Billy McFarland.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. We had a hell of a crew. So was Dean Skelos. Senator Dean Skelos was with me as well.
You had they're the ones that got reversal, right? And they let them go.
No, Joe Percoco got a reversal.
Oh, Joe Percoco.
That was after everybody was released because of COVID. They fucked Percoco up. In fact, it was Andrew Cuomo. He was Andrew Cuomo's chief of staff. Cuomo did him totally wrong, like really totally wrong. And Joe Percoco spent about 2 years at Otisville, and it was ultimately overturned. In fact, there were about 4 guys that were with me. One guy's name was Sassine. Super nice guy, very sick, very, very sick. There were a couple times we stayed up with him all night long thinking he was going to pass away. He had CPD, chronic pulmonary disorder. And I mean, I would stay up with him all night long, to make sure that he was breathing and so on. We were all very, very, most of us were extremely, extremely close. I mean, and it didn't make a difference. Well, black, Hispanic, white, Orthodox. Everybody was relatively close. For the most, there were some pieces of shit. Don't get me wrong, but everybody was pretty close.
That's one thing about Otisville, 100%. And that's why a lot of people try to get into Otisville. It's a little different. It's a different community. Go ahead, Dean.
Well, no, listen, you guys are recounting your stories. They're vastly different. The way you were arraigned was different. The way you were charged was different. The way you showed up was different. How you got put in jail was different. The time that you spent in jail was a little bit different. But you guys are talking about community, and now we're talking about a guy like James Comey who's about to be perp walked. I don't know if he has been perp walked yet.
He already has. I believe
he's one in the back.
Pled not guilty.
Of course. Okay, so he pleads not guilty. And I want to kind of go through the process, because is he going to go through the same process that you guys have been through? Lev, go ahead.
I don't think he's going to go through the same process. I mean, first of all, me and Michael were a little different situations. Neither one of us was ex-FBI agent. Neither one of us had the media and on our side. Neither one of us. We were men on our own island, if you remember, against the whole world. Just like Michael started off telling you, they threatened to put his wife and everybody. But they did the same thing to me. I mean, they raided my house. Just think about how all this is theatrics. Let me give you my arrest theatrics. So they've been following me. The CIA, the NSA, the FBI, every intelligence agency, every alphabet you can imagine, were following me all over the world. They use technology like voice recognition when I would be in Vienna making phone calls and stuff like that. When they gave me my evidence and stuff, a stack of papers like this till this day, all blacked out. They knew every step I was making, to the effect that even they had FBI agents at the Trump Hotel as waiters at certain points, serving me, Rudy, and I mean, all kinds of crazy shit. So the day of my arrest, I just want for people to understand how this happens, because remember, it was made out to seem that we were running away, we were trying to hide, we were trying to do. But in reality, what was happening? We were called in. It was Yom Kippur. It was Yom Kippur. We just got back. I was not going anywhere. And on Yom Kippur, I was supposed to be fasting at home, but I get a call from Rudy.
Sneaky fucks.
Telling me we need you. We need, because at that point, people from Vienna, Firtas's people, called up and said that we're going to get the accountant from Burisma, and he's going to bring the hard drive, Hunter Biden's hard drive that they had. So you need to, and we're also going to bring in the prosecutor for Rudy and Hannity, because Fox was all in on it, to do the interview.
Yeah.
So he goes, we need to get this done immediately. So I call my rabbi. My rabbi says, if it's extremely important, God, there's certain things that God, like medicine you could take if you're sick, this is, and I said to myself, I mean, at that point, I was trying to save our country, thinking that the deep state, we got to go do this. We got to nail Hunter Biden. So me and Igor get on a plane. We fly to Washington, D.C., or during Yom Kippur, and basically we have a meeting in Fox. We go to Fox boardroom. They give us a boardroom. This is at between 9 and 10 o'clock at night. The night before, this was October 8th, because we got arrested October 9th. So October 8th, 2019.
Oh, happy anniversary.
Yeah, this is, I'm telling you, to the day. October 8th, 6 years ago, 2019, I was sitting in Fox Studios at 9 o'clock at night with Hannity, and coming in back and forth with Rudy, with Joe DeGeneva, and all of Trump's merry men of lawyers, and the kingpin himself, John Solomon, who is still running around there, spreading, Trump's gospel. And the plan was, we're all going to go to Vienna the next day. We all had plane tickets to go to Vienna the next day. And Hannity was going to do a special interview with Rudy holding up the hard drive and all this. It was supposed to be all set up, crazy stuff. All of a sudden, we get back to the hotel. I get a call from Victoria that Joe DeGeneva is not feeling well. So they're not going to be able to make the trip. So now it's just me, Rudy, and Igor that now they're going on the trip. Next morning, we wake up at like 8 o'clock in the morning, Trump Hotel, go downstairs. Rudy, we're having breakfast. Rudy goes to me that Trump just called him, and he has to go to the White House tomorrow. This was a Thursday. He goes, on Friday, I have to go to the White House. We have to do some stuff, so I'm not going to go with you on the flight. I'm going to meet you and Igor there on the weekend. You guys go set everything up, Make sure, because Firtash promised him some tickets to the opera house, some major opera you couldn't get into. Rudy was sick on opera. So here we go. We're sitting in the hotel. Meanwhile, FBI agents all over the place are following us. They can come in right there.
You had no idea?
Oh no, of course. This was a sealed indictment. This is the first part, everybody. It was a sealed indictment. So we have no idea that we're going to be arrested, that there's a case. It's called a sealed indictment. So for the fact that they're saying we're running away from somebody, you have to know what you're running from. If it's a sealed indictment, what are we running from? We don't know anything, right? So they could have arrested us at the Trump Hotel, chose not to. Why? Because it'd be a big stink. They could have arrested us anywhere else. But they couldn't, because Rudy was with us all the time. They waited till we got to the airport. They could have arrested us at the airport right when we got there. They waited till we were about to board. They sat, literally, there were 2 FBI agents sitting in VIP lounge with us.
All about the theatrics.
The theatrics, right, to make it believe like we were running. We had one-way tickets to get out of the town. I was leaving my 7 kids, my family, from what nobody knows. And we were working for the president of the United States. No, the media never once asked, say, what were they running from? But they needed that. Yeah, Berman, in his book, that fucking piece of shit, wrote that he was in synagogue at the time when Attorney General Bill Barr flew to New York. He was in the Southern District of New York, Bill Barr. People don't even know this, overseeing our arrest. And
the
after
same piece of shit, Jeffrey Berman, in his book, turns around and he recused himself on my case. My scenario is very different than Lev's.
Yeah.
I got about 50 FBI agents raided my home, the hotel we were staying in, my law office, and the safety deposit box across the street at TD Bank from my apartment. 50 plus federal agents raided everything at one shot. Okay. I then hire a lawyer. I should have done it on my own. I literally hired this lawyer, and he, for 4.5 months after the raid, reaches out on a daily basis to the Southern District of New York. Jeffrey Berman, the same piece of shit that Lev is talking about, recuses himself like on day number 2, but somewhere along the line, over the course of the next, say, 4.5 months, until they ultimately responded. 4.5 months, every day, they finally respond on a Thursday. On a Thursday, before that Friday that they told us you have till Monday to come in and plead guilty. They never spoke to us, not once. We never had any idea what it was all about. I got copies, of course, of the warrants. But why is Jeffrey Berman a fucking dirtbag? I'm going to tell you. He never disclosed, not to my lawyers, not to the judge, not to the prosecutors, not to me, to no one, that he was in communication with Bill Barr over my case. You know what he decided to do? He was going to hold on to that information to sell his book.
For his book. Same thing with me.
For his book.
He put it in his book.
When I say that this motherfucker is a scumbag to the nth degree, you think that would not have made a difference in my case too? Now, truth be told, I still would have pled. I was not going to let them go after my wife, right? One thing, and I think it's important, since Comey just pled not guilty, good for him. I know right now, at his 6'5", 6'6", however tall he is, he thinks he's tough. I assure you, I'm tougher than he is. This I could tell you for a fact. It's not even close race. He's got diarrhea. He has a fucking migraine. He's laying in bed, probably with tears in his eyes and stomach pains. Because here's one thing that he knows. Here's something that he knows. When government comes after you, I don't care if you're Mother Teresa. I don't care if you're Pope Leo. I don't care if you're the Rebbe Schneerson. All right? they fucking got you.
Yeah.
All right. Now
he was one of them. He used to do that.
he knows
did that to
exactly
so
how
many
the
people.
game is played, and he knows that they're going to play it even rougher on him than they used to do to other people. Now,
see, Michael, that's what I wanted to ask you about. I wanted to ask both of you guys. Like, listen, there's this narrative out there that James Comey's going to skate. He's going to surround himself with the best people, but you can't escape the human fucking tax of knowing that the government is bearing down on you. They're raiding your fucking house. They're threatening you and your family, and they just perp walked you in front of the entire fucking world, right? Like that. I mean, that James Comey has got to be shitting his pants.
Of his own medicine, Dean. Let me be very clear about it. And by the way, everybody's talking about, you got all these legal fucking pundits, whether it's on here Substack, whether it's on MSCNN, whether it's on ABC, NBC, CBS, doesn't make a fucking difference. They're all opining and prognosticating. Oh, well, the key witness that's supposed to be in this case is going to, it doesn't help government. It doesn't help Lindsay Halligan. She's a personal injury lawyer, or she has no prosecutorial experience and so on. Let me be crystal fucking clear to everyone across the bat. All right. A 6-year-old could try this case against James Comey and win. And you say, yeah, but nobody goes to jail for this. Right. Nobody like Lev or I go to jail for campaign finance violation or a HELOC. What do you mean? I'm not allowed to use my HELOC money for whatever I want, right? Government controls the game. Government controls the playing field. Government controls the type of ball that's used and both teams. So when he thinks, and yeah, he may turn around and it may not be the 2 charges that have been levied against him yet, but the more they're going to be digging in, the more they're going to find out that James Comey did other shit. And what are they going to do? They'll hit him with a fucking superseding indictment. He's not getting out of this unscathed. Let me be crystal clear about it. And I know the game, as Lev does, better than anybody.
I want to touch on what Michael just said.
Yeah, it's fucking fascinating perspective.
About the holding charge. But before I get to the holding charge, quickly, just want to finish up and tell you that to what disgusting they didn't. That wasn't the end of my arrest, folks. Because while they arrested me, the theatrics continued. So they arrested me in Washington Dulles Airport. They shut down the whole airport. They make it seem like they got the biggest terrorists in the world. They're transferring me like 300 cars, lights on all over the airport. They're transferring us to Alexandria, Virginia. Meanwhile, back at the corral, they're sitting in Miami trying to get a judge to get warrants to arrest my wife. Thank God the judge did not sign the warrant. So while they're arresting me, then they come in there. Helicopters. I lived in a small, I'm not going to say where, in a small little community, very private. And they came in here with helicopters, lights beaming on my light. My 16-year-old son still has PTSD and still goes sees a therapist because when they started knocking on the door, my wife was with a 6-month-old in her hand with 2 other kids in the house, and they broke through the backyard, guns drawn, put my kids on the floor, grabbed my wife, took the child out of her hands, put her in a different room, and started questioning her, "Where is your husband?" While they knew that I was already arrested, they already had me, took her phone away, started telling her, and by God's grace, she heard that one of the FBI agents said the judge didn't sign her arrest warrant. But for 2.5 hours, while they were ransacking in my whole house with the kids and everybody in one corner, they were threatening that they were going to arrest her because she said, "I don't know where he is. He's supposed to be on a plane, but he never called me." They go, "You're lying. You know where he is." So this is the tortures they put us through. Now going back to what Michael said about the holding charge. This is what they do. they first arrest you to be able to hold you, to be able to bring you in. Now the real investigations start. Now they have the time to go out there and start really doing certain things. And this is where the superseding indictments come in. This is when they start coming in and start looking into you with the microscope so deep, and not just you. They start looking at your kids, your family, your associates, your because it's all part of a bargaining chip. Because when they're going to sit down with you and they're going to tell you, you need to take this plea. Actually, for me, they didn't even offer me a plea. How about this one? For me, hey, Michael, for me, they didn't even offer me. They offered pleas to all of my co-defendants. To me, they said, no, unless you admit that you were working for the Russians, infiltrating Donald Trump, we are not, there's nothing for us to talk about. I mean, this was our conversation. Yeah. And the first, the other first thing, the funny thing so when I sat down for my proffer finally, so they wouldn't, I'll give you another funny story. So the Southern District of New York, you know how they say their doors are always open?
Yeah.
That, they want to speak to everybody, come on in, talk to us. Well, when they arrested me for the first 6 months, they would not speak to me. They would not, my lawyer would call and say, hey guys, why don't you, let's sit down and what's going on here? He has a lot to tell you about Trump, Rudy. As soon as they would hear Trump, Rudy, they would shut down. They said, we don't want to talk to you. So I had to go on Rachel Maddow to do my interview. After I do my interview, literally...
By the way, just breaking news, the trial date is now set for January 5th.
Yeah, interesting time for a trial date, January 5th, right? Jesus Christ.
They'll probably...
I want to be there. I want to figure out how to get my tea.
Yeah,
Dude, I'll even go on StubHub and buy it right now.
Dude, you know what'd be great is that you should be the on-the-ground reporter. Like Miles Taylor was doing some amazing work with Acosta and Olivia Troy this morning. I'm like, oh, there's some national security experts that are actually reporting on the ground from the courthouse, dude.
Yeah, but here's the thing, and I'm a big fan of Miles. Don't get me wrong. What's the knowledge? What's the knowledge? And he's not a lawyer within which to give legal opinion. He's never gone through the system himself. I mean, he's a bright guy. I love the book Anonymous, read it when I was in Otisville. I'm just trying to figure out. Yeah, I definitely want to get there. I'll give you the legal perspective, and I'll give you the perspective that both Lev and I share and know, which is they have been corrupt. The FBI, the weaponization of the DOJ, been there for a long fucking time. And James Comey knows exactly what's coming. There's only one problem. It's like being tied to the third rail, all right, of a train track. You know what's coming.
Oh, absolutely.
Here's the problem.
Can't move.
Here's the problem.
Michael,
you can't move. There's nothing that you can do to get yourself off the track.
Michael, before you go into that, I just want to talk because one thing you touched upon, we're talking about right now, I think it's extremely important. And we have about a little over 1,300, 1,400 people here right now. And God bless and thank you all for subscribing, coming on here, following, listening.
Smash those red hearts if you like.
Yeah, and share the shit out of this because this is a conversation you're not going to find anywhere else ever. So go ahead.
And just like you said, this is a conversation you're going to find. So, this is one of the things that I'm going out there and me and Michael are talking about and others is we're trying to start this little movement of unification. This is not about attacking each other. This is about unifying each other. But a perfect example is right now, we should not be competing with Jim Acosta and Miles Taylor and with them out there doing their reporting while we're sitting here doing our reporting and people are not getting the truth reporting. We should be all doing this together. Right now, this should be a mass unification. I don't care if it's Acosta doing it or if it's Olivia doing it, if it's you doing it, Dean, or Mike or me. It doesn't matter. The important part is the message needs to get out. And what's happening is we're dividing ourselves, fighting for these listeners and people. I get so many DMs and so many messages saying, I don't know who to watch. 4 o'clock hits, you got 5 different people going on, and I subscribe, I don't know what to do. It's wrong. This is what I'm trying to, just like, we can't unite our Democratic leadership. We can't unite our social media speakers.
Yeah.
Like right now, just think about right now, while Comey's up there, right now, we should have the Midas Touch. We should have Jim Acosta. We should have my son, Aaron. We should have, Pop
Lincoln Project.
Lincoln Project. We should all be right now. This should be This should be a live streaming event. We should have panels up there like Michael, myself, Miles Taylor, Olivia, all these perspectives from different angles, talking about giving everybody the true perspective. Instead, they're getting bits and pieces. It's fucking competition, and I'm not here for it. I'm not here to compete with Acosta and them to try and get followers. Michael's not doing that. We're trying to get the information out. We're risking our lives, and and it's not commentary. There's a different thing. Commentary is when people give their opinions and talk about, and a lot of people and have really good opinions. Correct. But what me and Michael are bringing a real life situation, not only from our knowledge of knowing these guys, being arrested, going through arraignment. We know what Comey's going through right now. Neither, with all due respect, I love Olivia and I love Miles, but neither one of them know. Miles himself is shitting bricks that he might not be the next one on the chopping block.
Yeah, yeah.
So this is the problem that we have here that we need to cure is to figure out, and the way we're going to do it is if each and every one of you out there, you are an extension of our voices. You need to, when you go on Jim Acosta or you go on to one of these big influencer shows, you need to start messaging them. You need to start emailing them, because this is not supposed to be a one-time thing. We don't have to do shows every week. It's not about it. But when there's breaking news, when there's something that is so important that the whole world, because James Comey is just the tip of the iceberg, folks. If you read my Substack, he's about to go after Christopher Wray. He's about to go after Jack Smith. And as far as Adam Schiff and Letitia James, yeah, those are given.
He's going after Miles Taylor.
This is just the beginning. This is the beginning. And if we don't cover it properly, if we don't get the message out properly, if we don't do it, that is why Trump is winning. And he knows it. He knows it. Because I'll tell you, and I'll end it off on this, Dean, and I'll pass it on.
Yeah.
Because if right now this was happening, if right now there was a Republic, like, I'll give you, and you have to go somebody big. This Nick Soder, regular nobody that is on X social, got himself arrested in Portland, and right now when he goes live streams from Portland, Oregon, every mega social media influencer joins and they promote the message. They don't compete against each other. They don't go, when they need the message out there, just like with Charlie Kirk's memorial, they all streamed it. They didn't have separate, it was all a unified message. When we have something happen, we have Jim Acosta and his crew doing one thing. We have these guys doing another thing.
We're doing our thing.
Everybody's doing their thing.
You know what? Lev and I talk about this every single Thursday. We have a show that we do with Malcolm Nance called Unleashed. Every Thursday we do it. But we always end up somehow engaging in that for a minute, 2, 3, or 4. And we constantly talk about how the DNC, this new worthless, feckless, freak, this guy Ken Martin, has done absolutely nothing other than send out more and more texts and emails asking for money.
Donations, man.
Let me ask you this. If I was running the DNC, you think that maybe you put out an ad, right? Create a 30-second or a 60-second ad on, I don't know, whatever the topic.
Epstein. The Epstein file.
It's a huge topic on the Epstein file, right?
For another ad, you could put on Project 2025.
Wait one sec, left. Holding up the 3-ring notebooks and all that, and yada, yada. Make a really impactful 30-second. And then what you do is you give it out the same way that Trump does, and Lev will attest to it. Every day you get what's called talking points memo. I remember I was there when we first decided to do it, going back in 2015. Every day, every surrogate and every member of the Republican Party, they get the same talking point memo, so everybody stays on message. Instead, what do? This one's got this message. This one's got this message. We're so fucking fractured. Ken Martin needs to bring everyone together. Imagine if every single one of us took that message and we put it out on our social media platforms, whether you have 1 million, 500,000, or 100,000. It then multiplies, right? And it goes on and it starts it starts to multiply again and again and again until ultimately over 100 million people will see that message, if not more. That's what we need to do, and make the message simple. Stop with the policy bullshit.
And I'll give you another example. Look at what the Democrats do. The first thing, as soon as Trump won, they all left from X to Blue Sky. Yeah, everybody might say, yeah, we're not going to let Elon Musk make the money up. But what did you just do? You just gave yourself an echo chamber, the Blue Sky, and you basically gave up the fight and giving them free reign to go out, spew whatever they want to the rest of the world, because not everybody left X. Well, you know that. So that's what I'm saying to you. We need to bring the fight to them. We have to stop running. We have to fight. We need new blood. We need to get, we have to stop with the Schumers and the Bernie Sanders. We have to stop with this shit, guys. These people are not the face of the Democratic Party. You need to get people in there that are willing to go to fight, not the old-fashioned way, but the new, modern way. But use tactics. Speak to people like Michael, myself. Speak to people that worked in that organization, that know how these people breathe, how they think. Go out there and attack them. Like, I'll give you an example. These are simple things. Me and Michael have been speaking about this already constantly. Right now, if me and Michael were running the show, we would be right now, if we had the financial backing and the backing by, our Democratic Party, me and Michael would be every day on the front lawn of the White House with all the media there, with the survivors, and we
all
would
the
be
Epstein
demanding,
survivors,
and with all the Epstein, and we would be demanding that he sits down and visits them. And we would be demanding and talking about how it's the Republicans that are shutting down our what's it called?
Our
Government, not the Democrat. We would be talking about excerpts of Project 2025. We would be doing that every single day. Every single day. You guys, that's what they.
You know what's
That's
really,
it's simple as that.
To those of you that are watching the live, as Comey is there at the courthouse there at 401 in the East Virginia, there's like 7 people out there. 7 people. Suppression, or opposition, show the trial, stop hating each other. Marvelous. Marvelous. You know what we would do? Wow. Talk about somebody who really managed to get a lot of attention, for this. This is, in all fairness, it's not like Donald Trump when he had to go to the courthouse. It's not even like when I had to go to the courthouse or when Lev went to the courthouse. Yes, Debbie Gonzalez, you're right. We are too fragmented. This absolutely has to stop. All right.
So can I ask you guys a question? Fuck it. The perspective you guys both give is so amazing. And to your point, yes, we are super fragmented, and yes, we all need to get together. But you guys offer a taste, a look, a flavor to what James Comey is going through that nobody on this fucking planet can offer, right? And I know that his situation's different than both of yours, and I want to kind of go down that road just for a second, because not only did Donald Trump not threaten you guys on social media several times, threaten to have you arrested on social media, and he didn't need the distraction.
Yes, he did.
He threatened to have you arrested on social media, Michael?
Of course he did. He attacked me on social media.
Yeah. Oh, we attacked Michael plenty. Me, he never. That's the interesting part. The difference between my story and Michael's is with Michael, he attacked him full force with everything he could. With me, they took the approach to pretend none of them know me, pretended to just let the story die out. So this way I would not be able to get any of my shit out or evidence. Then it would just go on to the next news cycle. They took 2 different approaches. Michael, they tried to discredit, they tried to go after him. With me, they tried to pretend that I didn't even exist.
Well, so here's the thing, and I thanks for that. I didn't know that, Michael.
And by the way, before I go,
he said
what I'm doing right now, I just went on Acosta's show right now while they're talking, and I'm sending a message in the thing. You should bring up some real people that know what actually happened and went through this, like me and Michael Cohen.
Yeah.
Bam, sent.
Yeah, good. That's a way to get attention. But listen, I look at this no different because of the perspective that you guys have had, that your prosecutions were just as political as this prosecution. You guys actually had some anti-hero status, though. James Comey is hated across the aisle, right? James Comey is hated by the Democratic Party for what he did to Hillary Clinton with the emails.
Oh,
James,
so were we. So were we. Me and Michael was hated by both sides. And so that's what I'm saying to you. We know exactly what Comey's going through because we were guys by ourselves in our own. The Democrats hate Michael. No, the Democrats, listen, I was part of Trump's team to go after Michael. Michael only found.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my God, you guys, I can't believe you're still friends. There's a truth bomb. So you were hired to go after Michael Cohen to destroy his career and put him in prison, which ultimately worked. And now you guys do a couple of Substack lives a week, as I understand it.
Lev and I knew each other before, before that as well. Let me be very clear. When you're in that camp, you do what you're told. You're tasked to do something, and it was really Rudy who was tasked. Lev was part of that crew, right? But the point that Lev is trying to make is extremely important. Yeah, both of us were like citizens without a country. We were, he's a Republican. I've been a Democrat my whole life without a party. You say, well, how's that possible? Why didn't the Democrats, protect? They didn't trust me. They thought that I was some sort of a secret double agent for Trump. And so the Democrats came at me hard. The Republicans came at me hard because Trump's administration, specifically Bill Barr, told them to. The goal is to discredit me for everything for the purpose of ensuring that if I ever get called to trial or to testify, that they could immediately go and attack my credibility. Okay? Didn't work, right? Because when you come with receipts, when you talk with documentary evidence, and then you also have corroborating testimony, it's very difficult, if not impossible, to do that. But I think the conversation for at least the next 10 minutes or so, because I have to run at 11, but I think it really needs to concentrate on James Comey. Okay? More than the fact that he's wearing a diaper right now because he's shitting himself. He knows what's coming down the pipe.
Michael, I'm sorry, bro, to interrupt you, bro, but right now they are destroying Acosta. They're like, every message is going up. Jim, you need to bring Lev and Michael up. Are you kidding me? Why is it Mike? They are right. This is, guys, I want to say this to you. And I'm sorry to interrupt you, Michael, right? This is what we need each and every one of you to do. There's almost 1,800 people. This is part of the messaging. We're not trying to, and I want to make it very clear, we're not attacking Acosta. We're all on the same side. That's what I'm saying to you. We're all on the same side. What happens is sometimes people get in the fog. Sometimes people forget the mess. Life goes on. I mean, people have different things. There's a lot of things. We need to get everybody reminded and bring everybody back to the one important thing, that we need to unify our message. We need to make sure our voices are the loudest and the most possible. The only way we can do it is if we all join forces.
Yeah.
So please, each and every one of you, when you go out there today, tomorrow, and every other day, when you go on these big platforms and you see these, when they do their shows, make sure you write in the messages, talk about it, send them. When they send you their emails, respond to them by reminding them that there are people really like myself, like Michael and others that, I mean, truly, and we're not saying it because this is to pat ourselves on the back or proud. This is extremely important. There's very few people that know Donald Trump the way me and Michael know him combined. If you take a look at all the years Michael spent with them, being literally his fixers, as the guy that the go-to guy that he went to with every problem. And then afterwards, when he went after Michael, he turned to me to go to Ukraine and Eastern Europe and to deal with all of these oligarchs, all of these. I mean, think about it. I was the guy that pressured Zelensky that right now you see every day that went to there to try to tell him to announce investigation. So I mean, the information that you could get from me and Michael is like from nowhere else. So it's imperative right now that we're trying to explain to. We know his kryptonite, and that's why we need each and every one of you. Besides the incredible thing, besides subscribing, definitely the first thing. Let's start off with that. The first thing you guys need to do right now is hit that gray little button up there and subscribe to all three of us, because that's for free.
Yeah, the
Because
Chiron with all of our names. If you just hit that button, you'll just automatically subscribe to all of us.
Because the first part of what we do here is to be able to spread the message. That's the most important thing. That's more important than paid subscribers. That's more important than making money. That's more important than clicks. The most important thing is to get the message, the information that me, Michael, and others risk their lives out there to be able, because it could end any day, guys. One day we could wake up and Substack will be shut down. One day we could wake up and Trump turns around and says, adds me and Michael to the list, and then or does something stupid like this. Any day. This is the type of environment we live in. So that's why every day that goes by and we don't do anything, it's every day that we take a chance of losing it forever. So I beg of you, each and every one of you, go subscribe. That's for free. Pass the message on. That's for free. Tell a friend, a neighbor, a coworker. That's for free. All of those things, each and every one of you could do. And then the ones of you that could go the extra mile by going out there October 18th, which remember that day. No Kings. Me, Michael, Malcolm, and Dean, we're going to let you know. We're going to put together a major group of people. We're all going to go out. We're going to let you know the day where we're going to go for all of you to join us, to march with us, to stand with us, to make our voices be heard, that there is no kings and we're not going to bow down to it. So to be able to do that, you need to subscribe. And for all of those you can go the extra mile, please become paid subscribers, because we don't have billionaires. We don't have corporate media sponsors. We do this because we're here to try to save it. And every contribution, every paid subscription allows us to continue doing what we're doing. So please keep that in mind when you finish off, when we finish this, and when you go on to these other Substacks today, make sure you let your voices be loud in here. This time, it's not about the congressman. It's not about the senators. It's about all these social media platforms. And I don't care. We're all on the same team. I want you to go hit the Midas touch. Go hit my son Aaron. Go hit Erica. It doesn't matter. We all need to join forces. We all need to we all need to be a unified voice. So I'm sorry with that. Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, Michael, that was so well said. Yeah.
Dean, the point I was trying to make about James Comey is, he, number one, financially, this is going to be a bloodbath. The longer it goes, the longer and the more money that it costs.
How much do you think it'll cost him?
Well over 7 figures. Well over 7 figures.
Yeah, over $1 million, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. And then on top of that, there's also the emotional tangle that comes with it. When you get indicted, which he just was, banks stop working with you. You start losing your credit cards. You start losing your checking account, your 401k. They turn around, they send you a check, whatever it is. If you have a stock portfolio, kiss that goodbye. Everything starts to unravel. And it's one after the other, day after the other, next after the next day, and so on. All right, that's just the beginning. As I was talking about before, they're now going to do a super deep dive into Comey. And remember, you're never more powerful than the government. They have unlimited resources. In fact, if people want to attack Lindsay Halligan and say that she's not competent, okay, do that. So you know what they'll do? They'll hire somebody from one of these big, gigantic firms that owes Trump $1 billion in free legal work. They'll bring that person in to run the investigation. Now, they'll bring in an entire team. He's got $1 billion of free money from these big, gigantic law firms to go there and start combing through everything. Well, ultimately, what do you think they're going to find? I myself, for 5 years now, have a FOIA request. Judge granted me expedited process. So far, I haven't gotten a fucking piece of paper. All right? They initially said, if you read my book, Revenge, they initially said that there were no documents that were relevant to my FOIA request? In fact, the answer is yes, there are. I had 4 of them, so I brought in a lawyer. We sued. And Christine, I don't care for you either, by the way. And so I sued. And you know what ultimately happened? They apologized. You're right. There's 486,000 documents, from 0 to 486,000. Okay. What ends up happening now? I guarantee you, in those 486,000 documents is a kick in the nutsack to James Comey with steel-tip boots, because Comey was the one that was responsible for the promotion of the Russia hoax. And rest assured, there will be superseding indictments on this case as well. This is not just about Comey lying and so on. It's going to be a multitude of things. They just have to find it. And
it's about opening him up like a fucking can opener, right?
Amen.
Yeah, that's what this whole thing's about. It's about trying to find as much as they possibly can. The government knows it. They know what they have on him. Yeah, he's not in for a fucking great time.
And the one thing I'm just gonna touch off, because I know we gotta run on this, is this. You consider what Michael's telling you, and this would be in a normal DOJ. So if you take out, if Comey was indicted by you going back to even Garland,
great point,
Barr, or this is what he would be. This is what we went through. This is what he would be going through. This is what because you forget about this moment in time when the DOJ, when the FBI, when the federal government comes after you, it is a serious situation, and that's why they have the 97% winning rates, which is unheard of, which should not be in America like that. It just shows you how uneven and how unfair, the system is rigged to be, and it was always like that. But now,
Lev, there's a great adage that goes with that. Prosecutors aren't out there to prosecute cases anymore. They're there to convict. And that's why they all have a 90. Every fucking one of them comes up to you and they tell you, we have a 98% conviction rate. If you think that you're going to be part of that 2%, you go for it. But in the meantime, we're freezing all your bank accounts. We're hitting you with forfeiture. We're going to indict your wife. We're going to go after your adult children. We're going to turn around. We're going to seize your home. Sure. Tell me, what do you want me to do? Tell me, what do you want? Fucking get away from me.
Yeah, that really jacks up the 98%, right? When they lean on absolutely everything you've created, your entire family, your wife, and your fucking kids.
So what I was going to say to you is, now imagine all of this, and now you put that on steroids, because now you don't have any rules, you have no guardrails, because now you have Kash Patel, you have Pam Bondi.
Yeah, the rule of law doesn't matter to any of these people.
So now they are openly and using every tool. Now they have to their and trust me, they have lots of tools, by even putting pressure on people that worked with Comey over the years. Just like they did, for instance, I'll give you an example. One of my charges, they went to my friends, good close friends that I tried to start a business with, that they came to him and said, Lev stole your money, and they said, no, he didn't. We did. They said, well, then we're going to have to investigate you. Okay, well, Lev stole my money. You know what I'm saying?
What's that, Michael?
They did the exact same thing. Look, let me be very clear. And again, James Comey knows the playbook.
He did it.
He was part of it.
Yeah, he was part of it. Yeah.
Everything that Lev is saying that they did to him, they did as well to me.
So you have to be kind of enjoying this a little bit as opposed to going, you got empathy for what he's going through.
I'm not going to lie. I most certainly am. I think James Comey's a prick. All right. I think he will be found to have committed a crime, and I think he will ultimately be charged with it. That's my prediction. I said it on MSNBC, and I say it here with the great Dean Blundell, and I say it with the amazing Lev Parnas and the former felon Michael Cohen. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
11 o'clock. Mark those words. 11 o'clock on the 8th of October, the year of our Lord, or your Lord, 2025. Michael predicts a not only an indictment, but some charges to actually take hold, and James Comey to be guilty of a few things. Lev, your prediction? What do you think?
Oh, I think he's going to go through some things. I agree with Michael. I think they're going to supersede him. I don't think they're going to let him off the hook this easy.
Lev, we can't hear you now.
Lost your audio.
Oh, you hear me now?
Oh, yeah, gotcha.
Again, because I know we got to remember. I'm going to give you another funny story, Michael. I don't know if I ever told you. So when I go in there for the proffer after the Michael Cohen, not Michael Cohen, after the Rachel Maddow interview where they were pissed at me, they brought me into proffer, and so you got to understand. I walk in there. They took me to the 8th floor. A floor that usually they took my lawyers, all his phones. My lawyer said that never happened in his life, that they take your phone. They took us we walk in there, and there was probably 30 people sitting there, every alphabet city, and then behind them, note takers, and behind them, other note takers and assistants. And at the head of the table was Nicholas Ruse. Nicholas Ruse is the guy
on my case too.
I know, that's why I'm telling you. I'm giving you another funny story. So he sits down, and the first thing Nicholas Ruse tells me, he says, "Listen to me, you." He goes like this to me. He goes, points his finger at me. He goes, "Listen to me. I'm the one that took Michael Cohen down. Don't be a Michael Cohen. Tell us the truth." I'm sitting there looking at us. I look at my chairs like, is this the way we're fucking starting this whole thing out? Like, what the fuck are we talking about here? Like, this is exactly how they started the conversation with me. I swear, you can't make this shit up.
Keep in mind, this is a $2,500 or $3,500 campaign donation, and they've got 40 fucking note takers. What's that?
It's funny. It's funny that you say that, because you got a couple of assholes that they come on to troll and so on. And when you see these trolls, just troll them right back. Maybe we'll throw them out of the community because you're not really wanted. Oh, you guys deserved what you got. You did bad shit. Really? One of my charges, which was lying to Congress, was about the number of times I claimed to have spoken to Trump about the failed Trump Tower Moscow project. I said,
"You hardened criminal, you."
And the real answer was 10. All right? 3 versus 10. All right? I used my HELOC money for an NDA. Oh my God. Trump had a relationship, right, with an adult film star, and didn't want anybody to know about it because of the campaign and so on. Okay. Wow. Now compare that with the other shit that you see going on here, including with Comey, who perpetuated an entire Russia hoax that ended up costing the U.S. government probably $50 to $100 million. All right, in terms of investigation and time and so on, not to mention my fucking freedom and so on. They turn around, "Oh, you did bad shit." Why? Because we fucked up with a bunch of contractors on real estate, construction deals. Like, any of you give a shit about any of that? All of a sudden, "Oh, you're really a bad guy. You did an NDA for your boss." Fuck you. All right. To those of you, right, who sit there and want to make, "Oh, yeah, you did really bad shit. You represented Trump." I represented Trump when he was a real estate guy. I represented Trump when he was a branding guy. Yes, I also represented him as personal attorney to the president, but none of this shit took place. And all of the lies that was thrown against me, whether it was the Steele dossier to my involvement with Jeffrey Epstein, I never met Jeffrey Epstein. I'd never spoken to Jeffrey Epstein, right? I was involved in one specific case in 2016 that went away on its own because the case was bullshit. It was a fraud. And it's not the what's her name? What's the name? Jane Doe case. All right. That people are Johnson, Katie Johnson case.
Katie Johnson.
All right. In fact, Lisa Bloom, who was her attorney, turned around and said it's not the same individual as the one who I was representing, and she was the one who represented Katie Johnson. So I'm trying to explain to people, when there's a whole bunch of shit even floating around on Substack right now that says, "Oh, Michael Cohen paid off these people." If you go back and you look at some of the names and the cases and you look at the year, 1987, I was a fucking junior in high school. Oh, this one took place in 1990. I was in law school, right? I mean, this one took place in 1988. I was finishing college. I mean, people, you need to start doing your own homework as well. There's only so much truth that Lev and I can keep saying over and over and over again. And what I ask of each and every one of you is to do us the big favor and don't allow these trolls to get away with the lies. Because it's the lies that get perpetuated more than the truth. And as you know, lies will travel faster across the country than a phone call.
Well said, dude. I listen, and I saw some of that in the chat, and I think that's worth mentioning and worth bearing, is that the reason that you guys were targeted as political enemies, the reason why you did jail time is such an insignificant fucking window of opportunity for Donald Trump that he used the entirety of the U.S. government to bear down on both of you guys the same way he's doing the same things to James Comey. It doesn't matter whether or not you think James Comey is guilty of something at this point, but your point is well taken, is that we live in a fucking dude. We live in a lifetime right now where someone can completely appropriate everything that Michael Cohen and Lev Parnas are, with the idea that you guys are both criminals, right? Like, oh well, you deserve it. You're a criminal. But nobody ever looks underneath the fucking hood. No one ever pulls the curtain back and goes, okay, well, what is it? Well, Lev's was a $2,500 fucking campaign donation. That's what they got him on. Now he's still under fucking house arrest. It's been 6 years. You did time in fucking prison. You had your entire financial life uprooted, and there was only one reason, and it had nothing to do with the fact that you're a fucking hardened criminal. You have never done jail time before in your life. Lev has never done jail time before in his life. All of a sudden, you guys are being treated like hardened fucking criminals, and nobody bothers to look past the nuance. Nobody bothers to do their own research. Nobody bothers. They just sit in their bias, and they're literally captured by social media with these constant stream of bullshit that just will never stop, Michael. It'll never fucking stop.
Well, I think what we need to do, Dean and Lev, I think we need to do a second one this afternoon and really break this thing down for the audience. I mean, we're right now doing great. What do we like? Probably close to 2,000.
Actually, you know what we should do? Actually, what we should do is on that point, speak to Zev, Dean. I spoke to Zev. He's up already. Let's maybe plan one for this afternoon.
You guys want to come back at around 3:30 this afternoon, and we'll get all four of us on. We'll get some media. 3 o'clock.
And maybe we could get like some other people on, like Glenn Kushner and
Joe
others,
Walsh.
and well, maybe Joe Walsh. Let's put together a real panel the way it should be. Let's join as many people as we can, and not try to do this. What's it called? But I just
3
want to
o'clock, everybody. Set your notifications.
I just want to do a special shout out to one of our subscribers. She subscribes to Michael, to you, to me, MJOT. I hope I pronounced it properly. I want to thank you because I just seen you literally go out there and subscribe to Acosta and go out there and put out a message that Acosta should be out there. Like literally, this subscriber went out there and subscribed to Acosta to be able to chat, put a chat in his room to be able to say, bring Lev, Michael, and let's bring the truth up there. God bless you. Thank you so much. And all of you out there, spread the word. We'll see you at 3.
See you at 3, Michael. Great to see you, buddy. Go subscribe.
Lev,
the real Michael Cohen.
Still angry at you, Lev. Still angry.
Wait. You like my shirt? Lev remembers?
Yeah, it's good. I love the merch. We need to start selling some of those, dude. Thanks, boys. We'll talk to you at 3.
3 o'clock.
Bye. There you go. There's Lev Parnas, Michael Cohen. Appreciate them stopping by. I mean, there's perspective you're not going to get anywhere else. Absolutely not. Both have been on the receiving end of what James Comey is on the receiving end, which is a serious legal proctology exam. Proctology. A reaming, if you will. Yes, what a mess, Cindy. I agree. It is a mess. A couple of things that I took out of that is right off the top, Lev and Michael pointing out that the DOJ has been a weapon in the United States of America since the inception of the United States of America. No different. The person that continues to weaponize it the most is Donald Trump. And what we saw today with James Comey pleading not guilty. He actually, if you haven't read, he's pled not guilty. He went down to the courthouse this morning. was indicted for perjuring himself. They're now going to do a deep dive in his life. He's actually asked the judge to throw it out because he said the case is without merit. Might be, but it might not change anything. You know? It might not change anything when one of the other real takeaways from that, Lev Parnas was sensational today, by the way. Go subscribe to Lev. Lev remembers. Is when he said, listen, our situation where the government weaponized the DOJ to come after us, that was normal. There were normal, sane people in the DOJ at that point. That's gone. There are no normal or sane people in the DOJ. I don't know if you watched Pam Bondi in the Senate oversight hearing yesterday. That was not sane. That was not normal. That was a cover-up of epic proportions from an insufferably stupid attorney general who should just be a maitre d' at a 3 or 4 star restaurant at this point. That's all she is. That's all she's capable of doing. She's the attorney general. Kash Patel. At you for your eyes, Kash Patel is the FBI director. And Donald Trump is the president of the United States, and he's driving this bus. If you don't think James Comey isn't going to go through things, whether you like him or not, holy shit. It's that kind of perspective everybody needs. Want to thank Lev. Want to thank Michael for jumping on today. Want to thank you for spending some time with us today. I know that you can get this information from a variety of sources. There's no shortage of them. There are many good human beings, good people here on Substack doing an incredible job. And while I agree with everything Lev says, I think that the more people you subscribe to at the same time, and the more that we get busy trying to strategize, organize, and put tactics in place so we can all start doing the same thing, moving in different directions, but offering different perspectives when it comes to what's going on. Because listen, that perspective, again, with Michael Cohen and Lev Parnas, who have been to fucking prison, the exact same political persecution that happened to James Comey today happened to them. You're not going to get that perspective anywhere else. You might get a legal take. But what happened to James Comey today has happened before, and it has been Donald Trump that has done it. We had 2 people who were at the epicenter of this on this show today to explain to you the horrific nature of how the DOJ has been weaponized in normal times, and these are not normal times. We'll be back at 3 o'clock, apparently. With Michael and Lev and Zev, we'll hijack the SUBSTACK and we'll do a special report this afternoon. And we'll go through, obviously, this is going to evolve. We'll go through some of the details, some of the information that we're going to gather in the next couple of hours. Feel free to share it. Feel free to subscribe. Feel free to share this with other people so they can watch as well. And listen, paid subscribers get to chat with us, and I love that. But you don't have to pay. Everything here is free. None of my shit is paywalled. We do have exclusive content. That exclusive content is few and far between, but it's exclusive for members because they go that extra mile. And listen, subscribing is the extra mile, but the paid subs at 50% off for the rest of the month as well. Not only keep us in business, to keep us moving forward. Every single person that is here is trying to do a job for you because we are you, and we'll be back to be you and talk to you at 3 o'clock right here on this very channel. Hit that Chiron. Hit that Chiron at the top, the one you see my name on it. You see it right at the top, the gray one right at the top, right there. You see it right there? Yeah, you got it. You got it. Hit that thing, and you'll be subscribed to everybody that'll be in the chat. I'll bring Zev back, and we'll have a 4-person panel. Maybe see if we can grow that panel too. Maybe Malcolm Nance might join us. Who knows? All I know is I'm grateful you joined us today. Thank you very much. We'll see you at 3 o'clock. Be safe, everybody. Bye-bye.